Hello, welcome to the Tipsy Trout Tavern and all that. Have a seat and the serving wenches will be right by to take your order shortly. What is that? Yes, that's the name of the tavern, the Tipsy Trout. Don't ask me why, ask the proprietor. I'm just here to play music. If the same proprietor would let me. He says my voice is like that of a keening banshee. The nerve of that old bastard.
What are you saying back there, Bard? Are you telling your stories already?
Right, stories. I also tell stories, you know. Interesting bit of work, and it's a good thing I'm about to recount one now. But first, a message from the establishment. Rowan & Sons Bakery is now offering their breads and pastries in half the regular price in the spirit of merrymaking this coming Moonfest, and certainly not because to put down a rumor about a rodent infestation in our shop. Rowan & Sons Bakery, the cleanest and freshest bread in all the multiverse. And finally, if you want to support us, please give us a like, share, and perhaps subscribe to our channel to help make us grow and bring you more stories like this. Here are the links below. And now, to the continuation of our story. In the months Karn had been buried, his campsite had remained undisturbed but not unchanged. The small tents had gone dingy with mildew. Ajani hunched his shoulders. He had a Planeswalker's distaste for these caves. Even if one could not directly sense the interplanar technologies, their way of warping time made the space claustrophobic. Karn too could feel the pressure. Karn led Ajani through his cluttered camp, then ducked into his main tent. The box holding the Silex and the tablet remained where he'd left it, and appeared to be locked. Karn ignored it, conscious of Ajani's eyes on him. Karn located a barrel with water, potable, though he normally used it for cleaning purposes, and a rag. He handed the rag to Ajani to wash and wrap his wound.
Why were you here, Karn?
Ajani rinsed his hand, working out the grit that had lodged in his wound. Karn inventoried his equipment for damage as he replied.
Searching for artifacts. Due to the unique properties of the caves of Koilos, not even the most entrepreneurial archaeologists or enthusiastic researchers have plundered them.
He made his way in a circuit around the tent toward the box where he'd hidden the Silex and its tablet, casually. The box seemed intact, but he dared not open it. He reached out with his special senses. The tablet felt like mere clay, a combination of aluminum, silicon, magnesium, sodium, and other trace elements. The Silex buzzed at him, present but indecipherable due to its powerful magic. Karn set the box aside. He faced Ajani and related all he had seen.
Shieldred escaped?
Ajani paced in the tent's confines.
Karn, we must walk. I have tried, many times. Now you have seen Shieldred.
Karn wished he could trust Ajani, but he shook his head.
The caves where I discovered the Phyrexian staging ground are no longer accessible. I have no proof that the Phyrexians have returned to Dominaria. Don't we?
Ajani held out the spearhead.
Karn, there's a peace summit between the Keldans and the Benelish. If any nations will take the Phyrexian return seriously, it's those two. I propose we speak to their leaders.
Ajani was right. Of all the nations in Dominaria, Keld and New Banalia were likeliest to listen to Karn's warning. Radha, the leader of the Keldans, had reforged that rugged nation of warriors into a devastating military force. Aaron Capassion led New Benalia's knights, whose passion for justice made each one worth a dozen fighters.
Okay. Let me gather my finds and sensitive equipment before we go.
Ajani tapped an amulet hanging from his belt.
Dora gave me a summoning device for the Weatherlight before she sent me. Shana will honor it.
The Weatherlight may be a speedy ship, but she is not quick enough.
Karn stacked several devices on the chest that held the Silex and the tablet and loaded everything into a rucksack.
I propose that we planeswalk.
Karn did not know how other planeswalkers perceived the blind eternities, but to him, the interminable space felt like crushed velvet, its lukewarm prickles sometimes verging on pain. The vertigo plunging through Karn contrasted with a sense that he wasn't moving at all, which was at odds with the feeling that he pulled himself along a cord to an unknown destination. He burst through a silken gash into cool air.
Karn stood knee-deep in wild grasses, orange poppies and purple flowering thistles. Inland, the farms seemed young, recently cleared land holding fields yellow with blooming canola. The homesteads bled into mountains, the misty temperate rainforests punctuated with emerald alpine meadows. If he had been human, he would have taken a single shuddering breath. To his other side, a large stone statue protected a seaport whose buildings and streets were carved into white chalk cliffs. Aeons ago, a Phyrexian portal ship must have decapitated the statue, and a decrepit hulk lay atop the statue's neck. Overgrown with honeysuckle, it shadowed the city's colorful awnings. In the center of the bay, a worn, smooth island protruded from the water. The statue's head, now home to seabirds. Ajani led Karn down narrow paths, past modest homes carved into the chalk. These seemed small and well-worn in contrast to the newly sculpted city hall, which had large but chunky dimensions, wide windows and balconies framed with ornate columns.
Do you know where the peace talks are occurring?
Ajani paused and cocked his head.
Follow the sound of arguing, I suppose?
Karn could heal nothing. The leonine senses had to be spectacular. Ajani led Karn through a grand but empty reception area, then up a narrow set of stairs. The corridors linking the rooms felt claustrophobic, lit only by torches. They pushed between brass-bound double doors into a light-filled room dominated by a long granite table. A broad balcony overlooked the sea. Then a male varied thrush, orange breast with black collar, black mask and black cap, a beautiful creature, perched on its railing.
To one side sat the representatives of House Capashen of Banalia. The nobleman at the table, Aaron Capashen, a middle-aged man with light ochre skin, had a proud tower with 7 colored windows embroidered onto his silks. The knights arrayed behind him, their silver armor chased with gold, their stained glass shields held at the ready, possessed the same gilded motif on their breastplates. To the other side lounged the large grey-skinned Keldon warriors with their heavy leather armor and their heavier weapons. Their warlord, Radha, sat opposite the Capashen nobleman. She had a Keldon's ash-colored skin, black mane and bulky muscles, but the pointed ears and blue markings of a sky-shroud elf. Other officials, led by a man from New Argive, had fair skin and a black goatee, lined the sides of the granite negotiation table between the two conflicting parties. Ajani and Karn must have arrived as the negotiations were set to begin, because only a moment later both Joda and Jaya arrived. Joda portaled in, stepping through a door his magic sliced into the air. His office, cluttered with books and bric-a-brac, vanished when the portal slid closed. Jaya planeswalked into the room, appearing with a flash and the smell of charcoal. "It's been a while, old man." Jaya gave Joda a friendly embrace. With his boyish features and shaggy brunette hair, Joda could have been Jaya's grandson, even though he was thousands of years her senior. "Come for the family silver?" Oh, there's nothing silver here that I like enough to keep, except for my hair. I've already checked your pockets. Thought about taking up lint farming? Joda smiled. I'm not worried. Your tongue is quicker than your fingertips. Jaya's gaze fell on Karn and Ajani. Well, this is a surprise. Are you two here to work on the negotiations as well? Ajani regarded Jaya, solemn.
We must speak to you regarding what Karn has seen in the caves of Koilos. The Phyrexians have returned to Dominaria.
Shocking bit of news there from Karn and Ajani. Less shocking though is that I will have to cut this story short, so you wonderful listeners will come back again next day, thus prompting more business for this tavern so I could get paid, etc, etc. The barkeep is signaling for me now. Tables to clean and all that, even though I'm a bard. Anyway, until next time, my dear friends, and I have been your humble host, Mordecai, also known as the Solemn Bard. Goodbye, and have a great evening ahead of you. I know.